I'm Chris Robinson, I'm technical manager, and I work for Gibson's Foods in the food industry. We're sandwich manufacturers, and my role encompasses all aspects of food safety, quality and legality within the site. I've got to admit I preferred science subjects, and as a consequence that's when I was leaving school, and I was going on to think about what I was going to do for a degree. Food science was one of the first things that came to mind. I think, like anybody, when you get to sort of later school years, you start thinking about what you're going to do when you're leaving school. And I was looking about and I was thinking, well, you know, in terms of the food industry, people are always going to want to eat. There's always going to be a job there. Looked like it was a job for life. You think to yourself, I can get into that and, you know, enjoy it. I started off with Dalgety as a quality superintendent, then became quality manager for the one site, and then ultimately became an area quality manager. The actual team that we eventually built up was an excellent team to work with. In terms of production management, personnel management, engineering, wonderful team of guys. Well, actually in 1992 went into chilled foods, and going into the chilled food environment, I say, from bakeries and so on, was sort of gobsmacking experience, because you go from something where you've got a product that can be stored and positively released after a relatively long period of time to a very short shelf life product. There are far more hazards involved, so you need to know that you've got it right first time and all the time. And there is that responsibility to the consumer. So you've got to think to yourself that it is a responsible role and does have to be taken very, very seriously. Money has to be important in any career. I mean, in terms of the money that you earn, that's how you also enjoy yourself. And I think that if you're working hard, then you deserve to be able to play hard as well. Certainly over the last few years, what I've decided to do is sort of visit as many countries as possible. And I think those sort of things you really do need to do. You've got to enjoy yourself. I think the thing is that you need to be able to sort of have a good home and work balance. And one thing I think I'm really quite good at is that I can have a complete separation of what goes on in work, what goes on at home, and I don't think they should overlap at all. I think the thing is, particularly with this job, you will come in every day and you can guarantee that there's something that is going to happen. You may not always enjoy it, but there's always a challenge there. And if you like challenges and you like something different to happen, then it's well worth it. After 30 years in the food industry, my career means an awful lot to me, to be perfectly honest. I like to think that it still hasn't ended, and there's still development possible. There's always something to learn and you can always develop yourself.